All right, hello everybody. Here we are, Unit 9, Skill 3, continuing with factoring. Um, Before we get into one of the techniques, this skill, or numbers game that we call it, is going to be pretty important. And so before we even start factoring, we're just going to get comfortable and pretty good at doing some of this. It's almost kind of like a puzzle. But essentially the goal here is to find a pair of numbers that have a product of 45, and if you forgot what product means, that just means it multiplies to 45, and sum is just a fancy way of saying adds up to 14. Okay, and so I'll just do the first one here. If I were to take 45, I would start trying to figure out what multiplies to 45. So I'm going to just start from the beginning. I know 1 times 45 is 45. 2 doesn't work. 3, I know 3 times 15 is 45. 4 doesn't work. 5 does. 5 times 9 is 45. 6 doesn't work. 7 doesn't work. 8 doesn't work. And we've already talked about 9, and so we're done. We don't have to figure out any other numbers that multiply to 45. Okay, so these are the three pairs of numbers that multiply to 45. So now, when we're looking for a sum of 14, now we want to look at each one of these. Which one of these adds up to 14? And so hopefully you guys are already ahead of me. 1 and 45, that's 46. 3 plus 15, that's 18. 5 and 9 is the winner. Okay? So the number pair that we would use here is 5 and 9, because 5 times 9 is 45, and if you take 5 plus 9, you get 14. Okay? And so that's kind of how this first level, or this first skill, is going to work. I'll just do a couple others here. Let's see. Let's take this one. Do number 3. So trying to find a pair of numbers that multiply to 12 and add up to -7. Okay, so that's a little bit different than the first example. Now that we have negatives involved, okay, let's just list the numbers that multiply to 12. So 1 times 12, 2 times 6, 3 times 4, and that's it. Now, we want the numbers that we use to add up to -7. Okay, right here, if we use 3 and 4, but we make them both negative, negative times negative is positive, right? And if you take the -3 and -4 and add it up, you get -7. So the winning combination here is -3 and -4. Again, a negative times a negative is positive. Okay, that's what happens to get you positive 12. And then -3 times -3 plus -4 is -7. Okay, so that's the winning combo there. All right, so we've done two scenarios. Positive product, positive sum. Look at what our answer looks like. Positive product, negative sum. Look at how the answer, the number pair, looks like here. Okay, I'll do one more. Let's find one with a negative product. Let's do number 6. Okay, let's do red for this one. All right, so 32. I would first ignore the negative, okay, but just list numbers that multiply, or think about numbers that multiply to 32. So 1 times 32, 2 times 16, 3 does not work, 4 does, 4 times 8, 5 doesn't work, 6 doesn't work, 7 doesn't work. So these are actually the three pairs of numbers. All right, and now if the product is negative, the only way we get a negative number from multiplying two numbers together is if one of these is negative. So I could do like -1 and +32, or I could do +1 and -32 to give me this product, okay? And now here's how we kind of pick the winning combo. Right here, we have to add up to 4, -4. So the way I would interpret this is I would almost think anytime there's a negative, think difference is 4, okay? Difference is 4, and that's right here, okay? 4 and 8 have a difference of 4, and if we want to add to -4, we just make the larger number negative, okay? If you were to take 4 plus -8, you get -4, and if you were to take 4 times -8, you get -32, and so that is the winning combination there, okay? Now, another scenario could be maybe that this 4 is not negative, but it's positive, okay? Well, if that's the case, then we could still use 4 and 8. We would just have to make the 4 negative and the 8 positive, okay? But that's kind of how this works. There's a few other questions here that you guys should be able now to try on your own and then check your answers when you're done. All right, thank you, and see you next time.